Local 4's Ed Littler joins us in the studio with the latest. Ed, what's been the reaction?
Well, hello, Danielle. It's been a tremendous reaction from the folks we talked to. Scott is indeed coming back to Nebraska to coach the Huskers. This comes after his UCF Knights finished a 12-0 season with a 62-55 overtime win over Memphis in the American Athletic Conference title game in Orlando. Of course, UCF will go to a bowl game, but Scott Frost will not be the head coach. Now, many remember Scott's days as quarterback for the Wood River Eagles when he played for his father, Larry Frost, and his mother, Carol, also an assistant coach on that team, as well as the track coach. Scott's national title days were spent with the Huskers after transferring from Stanford, and of course, he is from the streets of Wood River, and we hit the streets of Wood River to get the thoughts of the viewers about Scott Frost coming back home to be the next Husker coach.
Ever since he left Oregon, I thought it would be a great fit. He's proved himself down in Florida and seems to be a dang good coach.
Well, I watched him play. I got his autograph once, but I watched him play when he won the national championships.
Say what he did in Oregon and then going to Central Florida, he's done pretty good in his coaching career. Hopefully he can continue here in Nebraska.
I guarantee you, if he can't do it, nobody can. I've followed him my whole career, and he's awesome.
That is just some of our viewer reaction from the town of Wood River about Scott beginning as coach of the Huskers. He'll officially be announced tomorrow at Memorial Stadium at noon, and we'll have the full report tomorrow night as Local 4's Justin Beagle will be on hand for that press conference at noon tomorrow, naming Scott Frost the new Husker coach at Memorial Stadium. Danielle?
Great, thanks, Ed.
They should give you time after the season to make decisions, and they don't. You know, these things happen at the wrong time, and the one thing I wasn't going to do is sacrifice my commitment to this team. So I've been game planning, I've been coaching, doing the best that I can for these guys, and then decisions land on you, and they're hard decisions. You know, I love this community. I love UCF. I love Orlando. No matter what I do, I'm probably going to retire here.
Scott Frost is indeed the new head football coach at the University of Nebraska, leaving UCF for his alma mater, replacing Mike Riley, and to be introduced in Lincoln at noon tomorrow. Yes, as we have discussed and as we have wondered, it has happened. And it happened after the UCF-Memphis game today in Orlando. Indeed, the UCF head coach, former Husker and Wood River High quarterback, certainly is coming home, making it official after the game today, replacing Mike Riley. And Scott was a Gatorade All-American at Wood River. He first played at Stanford, then transferred to Nebraska, culminating leading the team to the 1997 National Championship, and he had a career in the NFL as a defensive back. Well, here is where Scott has coached after playing in the NFL as that defensive back from the New York Jets. He was a grad assistant under Frank Solich at Nebraska. He did the same at Kansas State. Then he became an assistant at Northern Iowa for a couple of years, 07 and 08. Then went to the University of Oregon under Chip Kelly from 2009 to 2015, becoming the UCF head coach in 2016. He's been one of the hottest coaching prospects, and now he has found a home, back home, at Nebraska, and of course, it's great news for Husker fans. As for today's game, Coach Frost counted on his team to continue the perfect season at UCF, and Coach Frost saying goodbye to some of the players and assistants before the game. The fans showing a sign they don't want him to go, but he is going. Up 10-7 here, UCF makes it 17-7 as a touchdown catch is made, and this is Jordan Akins to make it 17-7, as I say. Then we run all the way to overtime, 62-55. Memphis trying to tie the game again, but the interception by UCF ends the game and makes it official. UCF wins. Scott Frost going to Nebraska. Final of the ball game in overtime, 62-55. UCF now will go to a bowl game without Scott Frost. They beat Memphis. The Big 12 title game, Oklahoma knocks off TCU and does so easily. In the SEC title game, Georgia on its way to the Final Four with a victory over Auburn today. The Big 10 title game tonight in Indianapolis. Ohio State leading Wisconsin 24-20 in the fourth quarter of play. And of course, we'll find out the Final Four playoffs tomorrow. And then down in Charlotte, it's Clemson all over Miami, scores 38-0 in the fourth quarter. Clemson #1, they'll go to the Final Four. In volleyball tonight, the Huskers sweep Washington State, and they do so at the Devaney Center, 3-0. So Nebraska on their way to the NCAA Regional in Lexington, Kentucky. On to the basketball card, UNK women over at the Sports Center taking on Missouri Western, trying to stay unbeaten at 8-0. Mackenzie Brown driving and rolling it in for two. She recently scored her 1,000th point. She had 10 points in the game today. Loper shot nearly 60% of the first quarter. Then Michaela Berry in transition. She would score the basket. She led the team with 21 points today, the final in the ball game. The UNK Lopers defeat Missouri Western to go 8-0, 72-67. Other women's action today saw Nebraska knock off Arkansas Pine Bluff over at the Pinnacle Bank Arena, and Hastings having no trouble with Haskell University. Now let's look at the men's action today. UNK here in the first half against Missouri Western. A.J. Jackson puts a body on a defender, comes up with 2 points, UNK with an early lead. Then later, Trey Landsman would make a statement, drives and finishes with a slam. He has another great game, and UNK prevails 82-79. On to the ice we go. The Tri-City Storm trying to make it 2 in a row over Madison. Tyler Ward, the breakaway, but his shot is awry and is stopped. And still no score here in the first quarter of play. The Storm had a number of opportunities here in the first quarter of play. As we'll see, Brian Hawkinson on the rebound. It can't go, but the Storm is able to win. Final score, the Storm 3 and Madison nothing over at the Viero Event Center. So the Storm wins 2 in a row, and looking forward to hearing more from Scott Frost tomorrow in Lincoln as he comes back home to take the job.
It's exciting stuff.
As he takes over as coach of the Husker football team, Scott Frost will be paid $5 million a season for 7 seasons. Well, that's less than just Jim Harbaugh at Michigan and Urban Meyer at Ohio State among Big Ten coaches, so he'll be paid well. And while he becomes Husker football coach at Nebraska, he's not going to abandon his team at UCF. Coach Frost will coach the Knights in the bowl game, presumably the Peach Bowl in Atlanta, January 1st at the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Yesterday, his Knights defeated the Memphis Tigers 62-55 to continue their perfect season at 12-0 and win the American Athletic Conference title. So after New Year's Day's encounter in Atlanta, he'll be back to work in Lincoln with his new team, his alma mater, Nebraska. Husker players had these observations after meeting their new coach today.
Yeah, get ready to work, and I think that's an important message for our team. And kind of just take this time off from football, get around your family a little bit. But when January comes around, it's going to be time to rock and roll. So it got me excited.
This is great. This is exactly, I think, what we needed, and I think this is what this school needed. Like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. People are gonna be excited. It's just an exciting time right now.
Now at the early signing period for college teams December 20th, the coach and his staff immediately start looking for those new players for that new class. Now the Final Four college football playoff has been set. Chosen is Alabama in, Ohio State is out. Number 1 ranked Clemson takes on number 4 Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, while second ranked Oklahoma plays number 3 Georgia in the Rose Bowl. Both those games New Year's Day. The winners meet in the championship game January 8th, also at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Well, it was another good night for the Nebraska volleyball team last evening. We go to the court in the NCAA tournament. The Huskers off to a fast start against Washington State. Sidney Townsend with the ace, and Nebraska had 7 aces in this match. And later in the first, it was Michaela Foke getting the kill, and the Huskers cruise to a straight set victory. 3-0 is the score, and they are on to a winning streak of 15 and move on to the regional now.
We blocked really well. We dug really well. I think we really frustrated Washington State, and they were swinging pretty good last night, and our team took that challenge on and did an awesome job.
I think we started with a lot of energy, and we came out strong, and we took control of the matches right away, and that's something we haven't really done all season.
On Friday, they'll take on Colorado. BYU and Kentucky are the other 2 teams in that region. Nebraska wins on Friday. They'll meet BYU or Kentucky Saturday. In East Lansing, Michigan right now, Nebraska playing 3rd-ranked Michigan State up at the Izzone. Not going so well for the Big Red as expected. Michigan State 64, Nebraska 45 in the second half of that ball game. Huskers 6-2 coming in. They're going to be 6-3 it looks like. And in football, once again in the NFL, the Chiefs and Broncos both losing their games as the Miami Dolphins beat the Broncos 35-9. And the New York Jets over the Kansas City Chiefs 38-31. We have Sunday Night Football this evening. The Seahawks and the Eagles, 2 teams playing really well. The Broncos and Chiefs not playing very well.
No, they're not. Well, we can just hope. And virtual reality is taking over, but instead of goggles attached